Hello, everybody. Welcome to the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Walsh. Don't be a doofus. Wednesday night live edition of the show. And for those of you that are subscribers, regular viewers, thank you so very much. If you haven't subscribed, if you consider subscribing, liking, and sharing to help spread the word, help build the channel up, and also you can support the channel through membership. There's a join button down there at the bottom, and you can become a basic member for $2.99 a month. And I'm going to have another members only video coming up. Actually, I'll probably shoot it later tonight or tomorrow. But we've got to get to what's going on right now. Again, thanks for tuning in, those of you watching live, and thank you for tuning in, those of you that are watching it at a later time. We're going to start off with Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the buzz around the internet is that there will be no charges filed against the 17-year-old boy for the two shootings in Kenosha, Wisconsin. There will be no charges in Illinois. The gun was purchased and stored in Wisconsin, so he did not transport it across state lines, and therefore no charges. Now, that does not mean he is not facing charges in Wisconsin. That was the buzz around. Oh, the kids got off. No, he hasn't. He is still facing charges in Wisconsin. So I wanted to open up and clarify that. The second thing, we talked about Miss Rosie in the last couple of episodes. Last episode was an interview that was supposed to be on Darren Harris's podcast site, and it ended up being on my site, and I'm really uncomfortable with it. I don't like having, that's not what this show's about. But anyway, we talked about Miss Rosie on the show yesterday, and I showed the video of her getting arrested. Well, Miss Rosie was arrested on Monday. I haven't reported this because it happened after I did the show yesterday. Chris Will was arrested yesterday. So Miss Rosie on Monday, Chris Will was arrested yesterday, and I've talked about Chris in previous episodes. He leads a group called FIRM, Foundation or Formation in Racial Matters, FIRM, and he was one of the major protest leaders in Louisville. He was arrested yesterday, and then today Dee Garrett was arrested. Dee is the man that's been carrying the giant 10-foot wooden cross in the protests. You've probably seen him on some of the live stream clips I've used in past episodes. And all three of these leaders were peaceful protest leaders, and one in each day. I've got my ideas as to who the next targets are. To me, there are going to be some that say this is a conspiracy theory. 2 leaders in 2 days, and then today a third prominent member of the protest community, 3 in 3 days. And I've said, I think that there are people in Louisville that want this to go away. They want the name Breonna Taylor to go away. They want the the whole thing to go away. You know, they in their eyes and many people's eyes, they spent $12 million of 12 million taxpayer dollars to make this go away. And there's an old saying, you know, you cut the head off the snake, the body dies. Well, if you take away the leaders of the protests, do the protests die, or do new leaders rise up? But wanted to make you aware that is happening in Louisville. We are keeping an eye on Louisville. We have been and will continue to. Hello, Troy Browning Paris, and hey, Darren, how are you? Salute to you too, my friend. I want to also talk about voting for just a moment, and President Obama. President Obama operated under, I've heard a lot of people say, well, President Obama didn't do anything for Black people. And he actually did, the most notably, the Affordable Care Act, which is known as Obamacare. Yes, Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing. They're different names. They're different names for the same thing. For those that want to try to tear it down, it's called Obamacare. For those that realize it's affordable health care for many, many million Americans, it is the Affordable Care Act. Now, I just want to make that clear because Obama had a Republican House, a Republican Senate, thus Congress. He had a Republican Supreme Court. So he was very limited in what he could do. I just want to get that out. And yeah, I campaigned for him with Senator Birch Bayh of Indiana and 3 or 4 times with Bill Clinton. But there are those if you are registered, please vote. It's probably too late to register where you're at. If there's early voting in your area, vote early, just in case something happens and there's not an opportunity to vote on election day. That's one of my conspiracies, and I'm going to talk about that tomorrow night. But I want you to think about something. Republican means conservative, and conservative means staying where you're at, be satisfied with what you got, or even going backwards and taking some things that we have away. All right. Now, liberal comes from liberty, comes from liberation. It means we don't want to take things away. The liberals don't want to take things away. And then you get to me, which is progressive. Progressive means moving things forward. Now, it's nothing like the oppression that communities of color have felt for decades and hundreds upon hundreds of years. But those of us that are progressive are oppressed. Those of us that are progressive have been regulated by the system, by the two-party system, and by the powers that be in both of the main political parties, which are an awful lot alike. That's why progressives have been fighting as hard as progressives have. So when you go vote, forget about all the propaganda, forget about all the ads, attack ads and pro ads on both sides. And just remember, you're either voting to keep things exactly as they are, if not move them backwards, or you're voting for somebody that's going to at least listen to the idea of progressing. All right, just something to think about. That's kind of what we do here. We don't tell you really how to think, just give you a few things to think about. And I mentioned members and doing a member video, and I talk a lot about championship wrestling here. And in the members only video, the members are going to find out why that really is. And I talk about every good guy needs a bad guy, and Grandmaster Jay is the bad guy for a lot of people. and vice versa. Those that are supporters of InFact and supporters of Grandmaster Jay, there are a lot of bad guys out there. There are a lot of, so both things are true at the exact same time. You know, Grandmaster Jay to his followers is a good guy. Grandmaster Jay to those that follow others that are in opposition, he's a bad guy. So what is he to me? Yesterday in the interview, Darren asked me why I like the NFAC. And I said, I don't like the NFAC and I don't dislike the NFAC. The way I look at it from the very get-go, I saw it, and I've said this multiple times. I saw it and I thought, the bigger they get, the better it is towards peace. And again, maybe I'm playing my own game of chess here with myself and looking at things through rose-colored glasses, possibly, but I don't think so. I have been the only one that is documented from the jump, InFact, and Grandmaster Jay. And I've done so saying every step of the way, saying it's historic and it's important to me to document history. And it's not the only thing the show is about by far, but it is a lot of what the show is about because I'm the only one doing it. I'm the only one documenting it from a standpoint of not good guy, not bad guy, pointing out the inconsistencies and highlighting the consistencies, not telling anybody to join, not telling anybody not to join, just documenting the history. And I'm the only one doing it. And I'm the only one that's been doing it. And that's why I focus on NFAC, because I think it's historic. I've said Grandmaster Jay is going to be one of the most influential people of 2020 since the jump, since I first heard him talk, because the guy is incredibly charismatic. He's a very good speaker, and he has a message that resonates. Now, do I agree with everything? Of course not, but he's not speaking to me. Okay? I'm just observing and capturing history. And NFAC is part of history. We're all part of history right now. We're in historic times. We're coming upon a historic election to where chances are whoever wins the presidency doesn't make it the next 4 years. And you know that going in. It's a historic election because so many people have said if their candidate doesn't win, they're going to war. I'm documenting one small part of it that nobody else is documenting. I really thought I'd be covering Grandmaster Jay and the NFAC for a couple of weeks, and then it'd be mainstream news and there wouldn't be any, I'd be on to something else and there wouldn't be any need, but that's not the case. It's not the case. So I would have anyway, but I'm definitely going to keep on documenting and keep on doing what I'm doing. Now, when Grandmaster Jay, when he goes off of social media, as he's been planning to do, I hope if he has a message for social media that he uses this platform, because he knows that I'm not going to interrupt him. I'm going to let him do his thing. And because it's history. It's history. I look at Grandmaster Jay differently than a lot of people do because I too have worn many hats. And I too feel like I'm at a spot that I'm supposed to be in at this time. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing at this time. And, there's an HBO documentary out called Agents of Chaos that I was made aware of by one of the viewers. And that to me is the biggest inconsistency with Grandmaster Jay is that association with Trump. And the same viewer also sent me a video that I'd seen almost everything in the video in various pieces, but I hadn't seen it all put together. And I've been thinking a lot about it since I saw that. And in politics, when somebody screws you over, you generally do not forget it, and you want to make sure you don't forget it, and make sure that you try to do everything you can to defeat that person. And that possibly could be the situation. And I'm just speculating here because we don't really know. But if Jay was working with Trump, it was probably under the assumption or even the promise that there would be a place for him in the Trump government. And when he found out there wasn't, it probably pissed him off really bad. I say that because in 2008, I was promised a position in the Obama government if I didn't win my congressional seat. I was told, we need people like you. And the day after the election, the phone number was disconnected. And I experienced Chicago politics. And I could have stayed angry. I could have done a lot of things, but I just kind of let it go because my gosh, it was such a historic time, and it wasn't about me. So those are the things that I kind of wanted to touch on. Now, the consistencies with the NFAC is the fact that, and I've said this from the start, the bigger they get, the less apt they are to be attacked. The less apt they are to be attacked, the greater possibility of Grandmaster Jay achieving his goal of having an area that is specifically for communities of people of color. And you know, it's been tossed around. Is he want to go back to Africa? Is he want? Well, the fact that a lot of others have said the Black communities need to do this. They need to, you know, nobody's really come up with a plan. And Grandmaster Jay has a plan. Now, whether it works or not, time will tell. But the things that are happening are historic. And there are those that watch the show that get pissed off every time I say something that is not a slam on Grandmaster Jay. And there are those that get pissed off every time I point out that I personally believe in what he's trying to do. There are questions. Is he doing it for himself? Is he an agent or something? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking about any of that right now. I'm just talking about the fact that there is a major group, one of the 4 largest militias in the United States, one of the only 4 national militias, a presence in almost every state. And the fact that now there's a focal point for the Black community to potentially rally behind is in my mind a positive, as somebody that's a peacenik, you know, somebody that doesn't want to see war. The more power balance, the less likely of conflict. And I'm relatively certain Grandmaster Jay knows that. And that's why I've always called the formation successful, because each time they've gone in, they've never fired a shot in anger. They've never been arrested. They've never destroyed anything. They've never done anything wrong. And then they leave. Now to some, the fact that they leave, that's what's wrong. Okay. But that's a totally different story. I'm looking at it totally from the political, societal level at the moment. Okay. And I think that time will tell. If there is land, available, and then it becomes, is the United States government going to let them do it? And my personal opinion on that is that's going to stay personal for the moment, at least. But if indeed Native Americans are going to give them land and allow Grandmaster Jay and NFAC and the followers to set up what they're trying to do, I got absolutely no problem with it. I don't. It's been said he's going to be leading people to slaughter. He might sometime, but he hadn't yet. And to me, the more things that get done successfully, the more people are trying to rip everything down. And I might be, I might be ignorant. I might be a doofus. But I think the stronger the NFAC gets, the more chance there is for peace at this moment. Now, something could happen tomorrow, and everything is like, oh my gosh. But at the moment, the stronger the NFAC is, the more chance there is for peace on a national level, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. Let's take some comments here. I've been talking for a while. Browning's one that's always on here, and I appreciate everybody on here. I got to give a shout out to 100 Black Rack, who is one of the members, and there's a join button down there. You become a member for $2.99 a month, and you get perks, inside videos, or you can be at the $9.99 level and call in to the show on specific shows, or you can be top level and actually come on and host with me once a month. Browning, historic maybe, but moving out to some other better land just won't happen. He will, however, become rich off of those who follow his talk. Without people being able to document where the money comes from, how the money comes in, and how the money's doled out, that is always going to be a legitimate suspicion of some. I can't say, trust him. I can't say that. Marie Antoinette. She's talking to Tori. Okay. Rodney Dutton. For Black folks, it's not about money. It's about unity. All other cultures do it. So why is it such a problem for white folks to accept the facts that Black folks need to do it? I agree with you. I know I understand why Black folks want to do it. I've said on here before, my heritage, tracing back through ancestry.com, none of my people had anything to do with slavery. Basically, we're Irish, and we were hated when we got here too. So I don't have a problem with Black unity at all. And I've also said that my people didn't have anything to do with this, but yet I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry that it happened. I'm sorry so many different cultures have been damaged at best and lost at worst because of things white people did. I didn't have anything to do with it. My people didn't have anything to do with it, but I believe it should have never been done. And I believe if more of us just said, man, I'm sorry. because I appreciate the various cultures that are here now, and how much more richer could it have been. And that's just the way I look at it. I know that's not the way the average white guy that looks like me looks at it, but that's the way I look at it. White people love to pocket watch black people, but don't want us to receive reparations. GTFOH. Warrior Captain, I always appreciate you watching. And I always appreciate your views. I don't have any problem with reparations. I'd rather see the money go to communities that need it than corporations. So no, JMJ, Marie Antoinette, JMJ is in fact cat separated and general isn't going nowhere. Yeah, I don't think you could separate Grandmaster Jay and NFAC. I think, he's the only one that speaks for the NFAC, and with, if, like I said, I think he's playing chess, and I think I understand what he's trying to do, or at least in principle. And if he hadn't been leading the way he's been leading, I don't know if it would be where it's at now. Now, is the group being used the way a lot of people want it to be used? No. Is it being used in an intelligent way politically? And if the goal is to be able to actually demonstrate that you can start something brand new and have it all be your own, he's doing it the right way, in my opinion. People can do their own. I'm just wondering why no one did before GMJ GMJ and NFAC. Malcolm X kind of was on the path, and had he lived, things might have advanced quicker than they have. But like him personally or not, Grandmaster Jay has a message that again is resonating with a lot of people. Again, do I have some trouble with some of it? Yeah, a little bit of it, but that's not my business. It's not my business. The message isn't aimed at me. I'm just documenting the history, and occasionally I voice an opinion. A couple more here, because we're getting close to that half-hour mark. Power to the people. What's up, OG American Doofus? Look, man, this is your channel. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. If people don't like it, they can fucking unsubscribe. Stay up, dude. Power to the people. Power to the people. I love that. Yeah, I don't generally bow down to other people's opinions or things people do and don't want me to talk about. And I talk about the NFAC a lot, but I also have opposing opinions on here, because that's part of history too. And I've got nothing at all but honor and respect for the people I talk about on here. If I mention anybody's name on here, it's other than possibly the President of the United States. It's nothing but out of honor and respect from Mr. Bay of Moorish World TV all the way to Angry Viking. And by the way, speaking Angry Viking, I don't know Angry Viking. I've never talked to Angry Viking. I don't have an association affiliation. I don't have any connections to the Angry Viking. And as far as the October 14th or October 24th thing in Florida, that is an Angry Viking event, and the more I think about it, I don't know if I would be comfortable going to it without an invitation from somebody with the Angry Viking crew. So I'm not going to talk much about trying to raise money to go down there for that at the moment. Now, if I hear it's going to get to something that should be covered, then we'll make, I'll make more of an effort to try to make sure I'm down there. But again, I'm not sure I want to just I want to be at an Angry Viking event without Angry Viking being aware or approving it, so to speak, because it's his thing. He's doing what he wants to do, and it's not my place to crash it. Angry Viking is a racist. I don't. I don't watch Angry Viking. Some of the commenters, some of his viewers, and some of the people, I really don't get a good vibe from. But I've like popped in to Angry Viking on occasion, and the past few times I've popped in, he's had a person of color on the show. Now, I don't know if he's invited them, if they've asked to come on. I don't know how it's working, but I have seen people of color on his show. And now, does that mean he's not a racist? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that he is? No, it doesn't. I don't know the guy, so I can't make that statement. I will say I was bothered when he said, as far as Breonna Taylor, if you lay down with dogs, you get fleas, and that kind of bothered me. But no, I'm not going to make a judgment on Angry Viking. I'd like to talk to him and see if this is really truly just all, like I said, good guy, bad guy. That Grandmaster Jay's a bad guy, and that's his whole focus is on Jay. A couple of more, and then I'm going to get off here. Okay. Hey Doofus, will you please give reference to the reasons that Black Americans have been more downtrodden since the Martin Luther King's civil rights movement? Yeah, there's something called gentrification or redlining, and what it is basically taking potential valuable property, especially now that cities are beginning to revitalize, or were before the virus, and basically drawing a red line into an area that you want to remove that population. And many times those are established communities of color that do indeed have their own grocery stores and their own fast food, or not fast food, but their own local food establishments. So that's one example right there. By defunding public education, when communities of color depend much more on public education than those that are affluent enough to be able to afford tuitions to private schools. That's another potential example. Let's see. Let's do one more. Black Patriot Truth Serum. Angry Viking is a racist. He invites people of color to boost his show and to hide his racism. He hides behind police and confuses racism with patriotism. I can see how some people might think that way, and to me, that's not a message that we need to send out in a time that it's not a game that people are risking their lives and some losing their lives. Thankfully, not many at the moment, but enough. And I think I'm going to end it there. We've been on about 36 minutes. Thank you all. Subscribe, like, and share. If you haven't already, please consider doing so. Help us grow the program. If you want to help support the program, and I hope you do, you'll consider hitting the join button and taking one of the levels of membership. And I'm going to be back tomorrow, at least once. And I'm going to be talking about my conspiracy theory on how we might not have an election day and why it's so important to get out and vote early so we have enough votes that it can be argued that the election can't be canceled because so many people have already voted. I'm going to talk to you about that tomorrow night, and keep an eye on Louisville and see if somebody else gets arrested down there tomorrow. There's going to be, there's going to be conspiracy theories that who's behind these arrests. And to me, it's the city of Louisville just trying to get the Breonna Taylor case to go away. And it's going to be harder than they think, in my opinion. So until tomorrow night, it is the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Don't be a doofus. I love each and every one of you. I thank each and every one of you. Somebody asked me, man, how can you say you love each and every one of us when you don't know us? Well, there's so many people in the world that hate people that they don't know. Why can't more of us love people we don't know? Yeah, just something to think about. It's the American Doofus Show. I'm your host, Barry Welsh. Thanks again for joining, and thanks for watching. If you weren't on the live, and for those of you that were, sorry, the comments started going by. Tori Hudson, nice job. Hold on a second. Tori, nobody, including you, never mentioned the importance of the United States Constitution. Oh, Tori, that's not true at all. You haven't seen all of my episodes. I pay tremendous heed to the Constitution and the entire Constitution, not just the Second Amendment. And I've asked many times, do you really support the whole Constitution, or you just support the Second Amendment? Because if you only support the Second Amendment, you're not a patriot, you're a gun nut. A patriot supports the entire Constitution. Yeah, I've said that a lot. And there, I said it one more time. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, those that agree with me, those that disagree with me, those that think I'm doing a great job, those that think I suck. I love you all. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what you look like. You're an independent thinker, and you've got the cojones to listen to the truth when sometimes it may not be exactly what you want to hear, but you listen to other people's truths, and that's empowering. And I thank you all for doing it. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. Try to love somebody. And by all means, stay alive. Don't be a doofus.